I get these goosebumps every time.
What's up, y'all?
That's enough of that for today.
Garrett, is that a record? Garrett getting kicked from stream on second two.
Yeah,
of stream?
literally within 2 seconds.
What's up, y'all? Happy Monday. Excited to see you guys again. Is this the first one of the year? This first one of the
Happy
year.
New Year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy
Yeah,
New Year,
New
y'all.
Year of the year too as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. Excited for 2025 with all
God.
of you guys and everybody in chat. Excited
Wow,
to
give us a nice.
crush it.
No. I'm about to hand out smoke after this on the court though. That's for sure.
And by smoke, you mean shoot a solid 30% from three.
No. I mean, I'm gonna keep my teammates involved.
2
for sure.
turnovers, 1 assist, maybe 2 rebounds if he gets lucky.
Garrett forgets the one-on-one score too. That's for sure.
Is Danny playing with you too?
No, Wi-Fi doesn't play basketball anymore.
He
What's up,
doesn't?
Armand? NXT.
Retired?
Armand.
What's up? Bro's golfing and shit. Yeah, is that 2017 Steph Curry? Yeah, cool. So yeah, good to see everyone here. Happy New Year as well. This is our second stream of the new year, first Money Monday. We do this every Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern. If you guys got questions about selling on Amazon, please let us know. We would love to help. And Warner and I have our first free masterclass of the year going down tomorrow night at 7 p.m. So make sure you get register for that as well too. I'll put a link in the chat, link in the description. Right there's going to be about 90 minutes of the best free Amazon seller content out there by a mile. So you should definitely join up.
Gianni, so you're saying when the distributor or brand asks what kind of company I am, do I just say that I'm a wholesaler? So I like to say that I'm a retail and distribution business owner. And I like to even sometimes say that I'm just the buyer for that retail or distribution business. So that's a good position there.
Give yourself a demotion because it makes you sound bigger.
Yeah. Being a buyer and because retail businesses have buyers, right? So it's
If you're getting reached out and they're like, "Oh, I'm the owner, CEO, buyer, marketer," they're like, "What are you? What?"
Yeah, part of the sales department, head of sales, sales
Head
manager,
of HR,
any of
accountant, bookkeeper.
Yeah, you introduce yourself as every title you do in the business.
I mean, that's why I tell people for like vendor shows and stuff, right? And there's not going to be many CEOs, owners, presidents, whatever, going to vendor shows and meeting and shaking hands, right? It's sales manager, whatever the case, account manager.
What's up, Joe Mazan?
What up, Joe?
I said, God bless you, Corey. That's love. That's love.
If so, what steps are taken to resolve? Perhaps a question that I hope no one has to deal with, but has anyone gotten an IP complaint? I mean, everyone runs into an IP complaint here and there. The key is to know how to proactively source to avoid them, right? So understanding that we're avoiding products that the brand is on. We're avoiding products that consistently have 1, 2, or 3 sellers. We're avoiding products where there's a heavy decline, like a vertical line decline in the offer count. Those sorts of things, right? Keep in mind the SellerAmp caution, but not letting that completely dictate and derail your sourcing. But all those things are important to kind of like proactively sourcing to make sure your account's safe, right? Because your account's always going to be more valuable than the couple $100s that you could potentially make from a risky purchase. Keep that in mind.
I think Steven was also saying it was on a book from Goodwill. So I had that happen one time, Steven. You can't really beat them. I just let it hang on the account. They'll fall off after 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
Next flip, good question. So if you guys had to start all over again with 5K, what are your first steps? So me personally, I would probably take that 5K into my nearest Marshalls or TJ Maxx or Target or Walmart and start buying clearance products, retail arbitrage, and maybe talk to the managers of those stores and try to get in with them and maybe get some of those like backroom deals, get access to that stuff. And then once I had maybe 10 or 15K, I would start reaching out to distributors of those products or just smaller brands in those same categories and look to work with them directly.
I mean, the good thing is I think 5K is more than all 4 of us started with, right?
Oh,
so that's not necessarily something that should deter you. That's a luxury, in my opinion.
That's probably our combined startup budget right there.
Yep.
Learn it retail arbitrage. But since you have a good amount of money, you'll jump to like buying stuff online a little sooner because you can afford to make a mistake or two. Buy yourself a little bit of that time back, but get that hands-on experience for the first shipment or two.
And get on social media as well and talk to as many Amazon people as possible. See who wants to hop on a call. See who wants to make a group chat of like-minded people, and that's going to make your life a lot easier. And then the cool part is that doesn't cost any money.
I mean, I feel like people overestimate how much you actually need to get into wholesale, right? You need two things from an actual like wholesale perspective. experience and confidence. Well, I guess it's 3, and capital, right? You need the capital to actually buy the sorts of things that you're being offered, and you need to be taken seriously enough where it's not just a $500 order, a $600 order, right? Bigger money results in bigger discounts. But more importantly, you need the confidence and the competence to be able to understand what's actually happening with the data, to actually understand one product's going to be detrimental to your business and one product is going to be positive, right? So it's a data decision, it's a data thing and a capital decision. And once those are both caught up, then wholesale.
What products are better to search as a newbie in retail arbitrage? Yeah, as far as like, because you're going to want to look for stuff that's like easy to ungate or auto ungate in store as a newbie. Beauty tends to be pretty good in early years. A lot of like small brands you can slip into, and then there's a weird amount of toys that you can get auto ungated. Like Miles and I have been hitting the retail arbitrage grind lately, finding a lot of some of it's bigger brands that you'd have to like get a Target invoice for, that kind of thing. But there's plenty of stuff on the shelves, especially this time of year. Retail arbitrage is great this time of year because all the stores are running like their New Year's / end of year clearance, whatever didn't sell last year. So they're just kind of heavily marking down a lot of stuff.
I was laughing at the one video you did with Ashley.
Oh, that was a good answer too. I did see that as well. Yeah.
We got some races and stuff in the pipeline too. She actually cooked me on a couple of them.
Think about starting wholesale with $3 to $4 grand for my first purchase order. Is this a good idea? And does that make sense, or should I have? I mean, that's not to say you can't find an order and can't place an order that's, you know, $1,000, $2,000, but also A, that kind of restricts your business to purchase more, and B, it's going to be a lot harder to get that first order placed with such a small bankroll. So I'd wait till you get 5 to 10K. Also, building that nest egg of business, you also are gaining experience, gaining confidence in the data, gaining just fluency with understanding the analytics, and you're probably best served just waiting to that 5 to 10K mark.
So I would disagree slightly. So it really just depends on how much you have total. If you've only got 3 to 4 grand total, then yeah, I would probably do exactly what Garrett said and like hold off for a little bit. But if you're saying you've got 3 to 4K just for the first PO and you've got more capital in addition to that,
of course, yeah.
But I would also say, like, don't get married to that number of like, I've got to spend 3 to 4K on my first PO. It's really just like buy the profitable products that you find first, right? And if that's a $600 PO, then so be it. And if it's a $5,000 PO, then so be it. But yeah, I wouldn't get married to like any particular number because you kind of just buy what you find, you know, assuming it's within your budget.
Because the fact of the matter is different accounts are going to have different MOQs, right? Different accounts are going to warrant different discounts at different order levels. And then who knows, your first account, you could get set up with net 30 terms or something like that. Or you could be able to pay with a credit card with no fees associated. Or all those sorts of things dictate the sort of value you find from that first order. The cool thing is, and Corey, I think you mentioned this in one of your pieces of content recently, one account can change your life, can change your business. You just don't know if that's going to be the first call you make or the 100th or the 500th. Or the 1,000th, right? That's kind of the cool thing about the business is you just get the reps in. You don't know which account can get you started, can change your life, can change your business, but inevitably one will happen if you stay in the game long enough.
Right, exactly.
Getting your first 4K payment tomorrow. That's a dub. That's a dub. I've been seeing you in the comments, lots of streams. Keep it up, man. That's awesome.
What's nice, and it's like the unique identifier for every product.
Yeah. Did we talk about David? He was asking about net 30 terms. Corey, it's good for you to jam on. How do you get net terms with suppliers?
Yeah. So really you just ask, right? And getting net terms just means like if you have net 30 terms, for example, it just means you have 30 days to pay your invoices. And the beauty of that is in a lot of instances, you can buy a product, sell it, get your money back from Amazon, and then have to pay the vendor for it. So in that scenario, you pretty much can just keep doing that infinitely, right? So it's great for cash flow. And if you're applying for terms with a vendor, a lot of times they are going to want to see that you have terms with other vendors, right? For them to want to give you terms. Now, if you don't, because it's your first time, a lot of times you can just explain to them, hey, you can start me off with a really low credit limit in, let's say, 5 days, right? Like a $500 limit net 5, for example, would be a really low starting point. But if you pay it off on time, every time, they'll slowly raise you over time. And then you'll have, you know, a really solid line of credit for, you know, 15 days, 30 days, whatever you can negotiate. And then you can use that to get terms with your other suppliers as well.
Getting ready to send your first FBA shipment to Amazon. That's what's up. A little bit of no more Q4 FBM walls. Unfortunately, it's better to do all the different ASINs in one big box or separate boxes. You have boxing, yeah. So you can put all the different ASINs down in one box. Otherwise, you'd have a bunch of like really light, weird boxes that are going to have a high per pound ship rate. Yeah, you want to try to get every box as close to 50 pounds as possible. You get the
but not too
shipping.
close though, because Amazon doesn't know how to weigh things.
Yeah, sometimes their scales are like, I know this was 48 pounds. How are you weighing this at 52? What is happening here?
That's happened to me
a little bit
before.
of FC worker's hand on the scale, something
My
like
dog
that,
is,
probably.
like, bleeding on the scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I do drop shipping from Amazon to Walmart? I don't know if it's allowed on Walmart. I know it isn't allowed on Amazon.
You can't do multi-channel fulfillment from Amazon to Walmart. I know you
Sure.
can't do that. So if that's what you're talking about, probably not, just to be safe.
I would assume not. I haven't dug into that too much, though.
What is an ASIN? It's basically like a unique product on Amazon, but it formally stands for Amazon Standard Identification Number. So it's a unique number given to every item on Amazon. Yeah.
The reason I shouldn't be closing 50 accounts this year as a beginner. I mean, just make
That's
calls,
insane,
man.
Yeah, make some
That's
calls.
good vibe, Gianni. Yeah, good vibe.
Yep.
You shouldn't need 50 though. Like that's the joy of wholesale.
Yeah.
You get 5 or 10 really good
It's like
accounts.
maybe you contact 50, but you only work with 2 of those 50, and that's a win, right? You only need those 2. Unless you just have very deep pockets, right?
Well, I can't ungate anything with Target invoice. They get denied always. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of Target private label brands like Goodfellow, for example, which are gated. So we know that the only place we can buy those is going to be Target. So we know for a fact that Target does work. Keep submitting, make it as easy as possible for them to say yes, title it, brand _invoice _date, include all the purchase documentation, and they're going to approve you.
Are there any issues with new multi-pack rules? So I wouldn't make any multi-packs. There's plenty of multi-packs that exist already, like a 2-pack, 3-pack, 4-pack, etc., that you can obviously just join the listing as you normally would. Cool thing there is all the data is already in front of you, right? So you'd source them as you typically would. But the other benefit to that is there's an inherent moat associated with those listings. A lot of people are just using scanners or just matching that product up to whatever comes up on SellerAmp or whatever they're using to source, and they're going to stop there, right? But if you're manually finding the 2-pack, the bundle, the toothbrush and toothpaste bundle that already exists, that Oral-B already issues, game on, right? So it's doing those sorts of extra steps that's going to generate a lot of extra cash for you and just moat your business a little bit more.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just avoid any of those listings that are left for the brand is not like technically the right brand. Those are all going to get clipped if they're not already.
Yep.
Just got my seller account, SellerAmp, and keep it what the easiest way to start. And I mean, Ungating, just buy stuff, man. Don't buy anything. I think this back when we started, I think that the general consensus was to just ungate a bunch of stuff. But now with Ungating being super mainstream and easy, just start sourcing. We have tens of hours, hundreds of hours on all 4 of our YouTube channels. Start sourcing, identify some of the brands that we're talking about, some of the products that we're talking about, some of the processes that we're talking about, and just start to find products. And then just ungate as you find profitable stuff. Test buy 10 units, 15 units, use that receipt, submit it to Amazon, get ungated, and game on from there. Yeah,
if a bunch of you guys put ones in the chat too, I'll put some like pretty much guaranteed auto ungate brands that you can get started selling this week as well. Give me some ones in the chat, and I'll put a bunch of those in the chat for you guys.
Yeah, somebody was asking about AWD earlier. That's something I don't hear a lot of people talking about. Ken, unless you're doing like private label, it's probably not super useful. So it's basically like Amazon warehouses that aren't the fulfillment centers, and you can pay for them to process your stuff per box and then transfer it to a fulfillment center when you're ready for it, essentially. So if you are like a private label seller, you're buying like 10,000 units or something, you probably don't want to pay storage fees and all that. Slightly reduced at Amazon, you can ship it basically from them to FCs.
So your question, as a beginner, wholesale budget 4K, how many ASINs should I look into purchasing? So we're got to rewire that thinking just a bit, right? So we should be thinking in terms of value the ASINs contribute to our business, right? Say $200, $300, $400, whatever that number is, set a minimum standard that ASIN should be contributing to your business each and every month, and use that to as like a line in the sand, yes or no indicator of whether you should onboard an ASIN or not, right? Because every ASIN inherently looks different. Some may sell 2 times a month at $50 a piece and generate you $100, while another may sell 25 times a month, generating you $4 a month, and that same $100 is still generated, right? So the actual ASIN quantity isn't as important as the value that those ASINs are contributing to your business, right? One ASIN, you may be able to sell 1,000 times a month at $2 a piece and earn $2,000 from that ASIN. But another person may have to onboard 50 ASINs to get that same number, right? So it all depends on the sorts of products you're finding.
I want to start Amazon FBA. I'm trying to figure out how much will the startup cost be. Yeah, I have a full breakdown of the budget breakdown for beginners. If you just go to my free course, it's like 8 hours. I dropped it like 10 days ago. You guys should all watch that. And we'll break down a lot more of this stuff in detail too, with a lot of good examples. A lot of stuff we honestly don't share anywhere else for free at the free live class we got going down tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you go ahead and get registered for that. If you can't make tomorrow live, get registered anyway at the link in the description, because you'll get notified of future live classes as well too. But seriously, if you guys haven't been to that yet, it's by far the best free Amazon content on the internet. You should totally tap in.
How can you tell a legitimate prep center from an amateur or personal garage prep? By asking Twitter, asking your friends, asking who uses what prep center, what their experience was, interview 4 or 5 recommendations that you've gotten from people on Twitter, and then just pick one.
Sometimes you want the garage prep center though. Like,
I mean, facts,
those might be the people that actually take care of you. Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of it too comes down to just asking the right questions. And one question that I always like to ask a prospective prep center is, who's going to be my point of contact? Who am I dealing with? And if they say, oh, that's our account executive so-and-so, then it's probably a big operation. But if it's the owner themselves that you're going to be communicating with, then it is probably a smaller mom and pop operation. And both of those offer pros and cons. It just depends on what you're looking for. So just keep that in mind.
And then off the rip, if they tell you 24-hour turnaround, they're capping. There's no prep centers out there that are consistently delivering on 24-hour turnarounds. It's like 48 to 72 hours would be a pretty good expectation across the board.
It is weird how many of them claim they have 24-hour turnaround.
I mean, it's now that I think about it, that's
it's like not even possible, basically.
What I think is pretty standard, and this was our turnaround, like this was our agreement with the prep center that we used to use, and they were a pretty big one, is it was 48 hours for anything I think under 2,000 units, and it was 72 hours max for anything over 2,000 units, and this was an FBA shipment. Right. So that means it could be, 50,000 units, and they guarantee it'll be prepped within 72 hours. So,
even that heavy, that's crazy.
That is very fast.
Well, again,
if stuff is going out like a week, I'm cool with that. Like if it's a week in and out, I'm cool.
A week's a long time.
I mean, if it gets there Tuesday and it's out Friday.
Yeah,
that's not a week.
That's
not a week.
That's not a week. Yeah, G-body bends. Doing OA and R,
Garrett learns how long a week is live on stream.
Yeah.
Like that'd be fine. I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. So how should I begin to get ungated? Yeah. So scroll up in the chat, stuff like J. Crew, stuff like Stafford, Athletic Works, 32 Degrees, Cuddle Duds, all of that. I bet every single person watching this gets auto ungated, and at least like 3 out of those 5, right? Now, if you find something in store and it's gated, just order it from Target, ungated, then return the product. And then you have that brand ungated. So sure, that might seem like a little bit of work just for 1 or 2, or just for one product to start with, but then you can sell that brand in perpetuity, all of the ASINs in said brand, right? And then if you're buying it online, just get ungated using the profitable stuff you found in the like that item. Just use the 10 of that product.
Start with just search auto ungated sourcing poopers. You'll see both of us sourcing some auto ungate brands, and then while you're waiting for a couple of ungates, you can always source those products right away.
What's a comfortable ROI in your guys' opinion for R? So if you're a beginner, you should be shooting for at least like 30, 28%, because you give yourself a big gap for things to go wrong, right? As you gain experience and confidence, maybe you can thin that out a bit because you're pretty confident what you expect is going to happen is actually going to happen, right? So the deviation from the expectation to the actual is going to be a lot smaller than when you're a beginner, when you could be expecting a 50% ROI and it ends up being a 10.
Garrett tapped into his dictionary bag this morning.
This morning, we'll just wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean like 25 to 30%. But when you say OA versus live sourcing, it shouldn't make a difference. Just in general, like 25, 30% ROI.
I see he might be talking like retail arbitrage or something like that. But yeah.
I have Target and Lowe's and even Yankee Candle. They are not taking invoice anymore because of the address and number not on the invoice. Nope, that is completely and utterly not true. Never worry about what Amazon says on the denied email. Just keep resubmitting. People wouldn't be able to sell these products if that was the case. Like no one would be selling them,
Yeah.
That's a good question. When is it fine to go below $3 profit, 30 ROI? Yeah, volume's a good reason.
Volume, yeah.
Especially if it's like a grocery item or just any category in general or specific product that people can't return. And there's no like extra cost you need to think of when it comes to that. But yeah, volume's the big one. The big thing is like if you're doing your own prep, you probably don't want to pick up items, put a sticker on it, put it in a box to make 80 cents, right? So just like, what is it worth it for you to pick up an item, put it in a box, put a sticker on it, that kind of thing.
But then going back to what I was talking about, right? Set a standard for each product. It massively helps, right? Whether it's $500, $300, $700, whatever it is, set a standard, right? Because again, when you're sourcing, that creates a really good line in the sand that says this product is either good or bad, right? Because you can identify, yep, this product is generating $3 profit. It allows you to compare apples to apples to 7 other products that sell different amounts of times per month and have different amounts of profit generation, right? So it's, okay, $3 a month, $3 per unit. How many do I expect to sell? And then how does that number, whether it's $170 or $670, how does that compare to the other products that I'm seeing? And that will allow you to kind of decipher on a limited cash budget which products to buy and which ones to not buy.
Got you. Cool. And remember, guys, if you haven't already, get registered for the free live class we got going out tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's the best free Amazon content on the internet. You will not be disappointed. Yeah, we might even show off Garrett's jump shot on it. Now they're strict on the 100 units. I saw someone
the meat is doing a lot of heavy lifting there, but
ooh, dude, Corey. Oh, we just became
the light just like flickered for a second.
This is my jump shot.
Darth.
Oh yeah,
oof.
That's boozer-esque right there.
Darth Wi-Fi.
You hate Amazon but love it. That means you're probably an Amazon seller then. that's the nature of it, right?
I'm trying to find a distributor with profitable products for the past 1.5 years. So if you were actually looking and doing things the right way, there's no way it would be taking you that long. So what exactly are you struggling with, right? Is it getting them on the phone? Is it getting the actual account opened? What has been taking you 1.5 years to do?
Yeah, I mean, you should be able to solve that problem in a week at most.
Yeah.
You can solve that problem in an hour if you go hit Ross. You're just trying to sell something, Truth.
I'll appreciate it if you guys have any suggestions. Yeah, just do arbitrage, man. That's going to be way easier, especially if it's been 1.5 years, you know. Do some online arbitrage. We're going to get you right. The cool thing is online arbitrage, right? Like certain products only come from certain websites. Therefore, you know, they have to be good on that retailer. And then when you just figure out the tip or trick or two to make those items profitable, everything becomes good.
It's one of the most,
that's a good point.
That's one of the most powerful theses of OA, right? If you can map a brand back to a site and you know the products are coming from that site, most of the game is solved for, right? Then you just figure out, like Miles was saying, how to get it cheaper, right? It's like there's hundreds of brands like that. Home Depot owns a bunch of brands. Walmart owns a bunch of brands. Costco owns a brand. Sam's Club owns a brand. That all those brands map back directly to a particular site, and then you go from there. And the cool thing is, if you can then find storefronts that are sourcing from those sorts of sites, well, then it's a gift that keeps on giving, right? Because now those stores are going to lead you to other products that site sells, and then you just keep iterating and iterating and iterating. The cool thing is a lot of store sellers that sell the same sorts of products hang out close together. So you may find on a Walgreens branded product or a Vitacost branded product, 6 other sellers that have that same product that have other Vitacost products that you hadn't seen before. And that's where OA sourcing becomes really, really easy.
And I love the tip that you guys always say about calling customer service and asking them for a coupon code or asking them if there's some sort of discount that maybe isn't offered to the general public. I feel like that can go such a long way. And that could lead to potentially a wholesale account with that website, right? With that retailer. Like that's not unheard of to be able to buy at wholesale from some of these websites and some of these, you know, these sites that people are doing online arbitrage on and getting even a deeper discount.
100%.
Last IP complaint was in 2022. Is it safe to sell? Yeah, good question. Probably if you see a lot of third-party sellers on it, check a few of the other listings and see if like the brand hopped onto any of those or those have like low seller count or recent IPs. But it's probably safe. I've seen some of those before.
Yes, you can just go to any of those auto Ungate brands we mentioned, right? J. Crew, Cuddle Duds, Athletic Works, Stafford, 32 Degrees, Pampered Chef for a lot of people too. And storefronts stock those sellers, and you'll find a lot of other auto Ungate brands in those seller storefronts because those people have other auto and gate brands in general. If they could find one, they could probably find multiple. You can too.
When you call customer service, do you say you're a business to get the coupon codes? Just ask if they have any new member 10% off codes or something. A lot of times you'll scroll down and see them on the bottom, but like ask if they have any coupons or specials running or something like that. And as you'll get hip to certain sites, like what the key phrase is to signify that rep for you to give them, for them to give you a discount, right? We talk about competitive advantages. That's a major one. Just really being and knowing what's going on under the hood of a specific site. What order quantities don't get canceled, right? How many orders can you place? What kind of cadence you need to not get canceled, right? What to say to customer service to get that 10% off code that no one else can get to now make a whole ton of stuff profitable that other people aren't. All those sorts of things you find out by iteration, right? By iteration. Miles and I used to order a ton from Lululemon back in the day. And we found out by hours of ordering that, what was it, 3 units per order that they didn't cancel. You couldn't do 4, you had to do 3. And then with that number, you order as much as you want. So those little things you just develop a toolbox of, and that kind of superpowers your OA sourcing.
So this person asks, if Amazon is on the listing as a seller, those are wholesale products to stay away from, right? So not necessarily. So we've competed with Amazon on tons of listings over the years. And as long as Amazon's sharing, still do. As long as Amazon is sharing the buy box, which you can see in the data tab in Keepa, then it's fair game. They're just like any other seller, as long as they're sharing the buy box. A lot of times they don't share the buy box, in which case we will not compete with them. You're right.
But even still, right, keep in mind that Keepa is not a to the second tool, right? So there's products where it appears that Amazon is 100% in the buy box, but you see the offer count going up and down, right? And there's only one way for the offer count to be oscillating up and down and consistently oscillating up and down, and that's people are selling, right? And so Amazon can recognize that Amazon's in the buy box in Pennsylvania, but there's 40-something states that people are buying from actively where Amazon might not be in the buy box. So it's all, the offer count's always going to be the single source of truth for IP complaints, for consistency in pricing, and then ultimately for kind of buy box differentiation as well.
Yep. No, Gianni, just use SellerAmp instead of that.
Yeah, SellerAmp. If you guys already haven't gotten 2-week free trial of SellerAmp, 2-week free trial of Boxum, keep a subscription. That's all you guys need to get going. We got the free live class going down tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Got an 8-hour free course on my channel. You guys should check out too. And no excuse not to build a profitable side hustle in 2025, guys. Well, you might even end up like Garrett.
Once you sell a product, do you go back to the charts?
Good looking, rich. Yeah, I know.
That was horrible.
Wait, so Willie, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
That's a really good question.
Well, I was wanted to hit that one. So Willie said, once you sell a product, do you go back to the charts or do you re-up? So basically the only way you grow an Amazon business is by making it easier to buy the same things or similar items over and over again, right? So if you can re-up on the product, then obviously then do it, right? If you're talking wholesale, it's probably going to be, toss an email. Maybe you got to wait until they get another order from their supplier or something, or you can get it again. With online arbitrage, the best products, it's going to be like a certain sales cycle rolls back around. Certain 25% off code, and you can stack a catch-all, or 2 coupons you can stack together, that kind of thing, right? That's kind of what you're waiting for. Usually, you're waiting for the right price of the supplier to have it back in stock to go crazy.
And one more point about that too, just real quick. So when we're deciding whether or not to replenish an ASIN, usually what I'm doing is I'm looking at the listing, I'm looking at the Keepa again, and I'm saying, is the new offer count going up all of a sudden, right? Because if all of a sudden there's a bunch of new sellers on the listing, the price is going to tank. As long as the new offer count isn't rapidly increasing and Amazon didn't just happen to jump on the listing out of nowhere, then we will probably buy more, assuming we've been selling it profitably.
Buy box is still intact, things like that.
Yeah. Yep.
Because, there's not the buy box being suppressed. That can completely crush a listing, guys, right? The buy box is very, very, very important in terms of consistency and velocity, as well as consistency and price.
But that's not to say, though, there's some great moving listings that do have no buy box, right?
Right.
And how you're going to tell if something's moving, regardless of whether there's a buy box or not, it's going to be the offer count movement, aka the bottom Keepa chart that shows the new offer count. If there's a lot of wiggle, a lot of action on it, people are making money on it.
Yep.
A couple questions about the 100 Ungate. Just you can try 10 unit invoices. I've been ripping them and they've been working, so no worries. And if they do want to see 100, then just get a good amount of profitable stuff. You'll be good to go. Make a video on transparency programs. So transparency codes are like little small barcodes that the brand is going to put on the items if they know it's being sold on Amazon. So typically you're only going to have those if you're buying from the supplier or someone who knows you're going to sell them on Amazon. But you can check the actual item and see if it has you can like just Google like a transparency barcode. You'll see what it looks like. And you can make sure your items have those on there.
I'm only sourcing things under 50K BSR because I want to scale faster. Is that a good? Yeah, 100%. Right. For beginners, it's more important to index on velocity as opposed to profit, right? Because the worst case scenario is something theoretically sells for $70 per unit, but it doesn't sell, right? You can swallow a bad decision that's already indexed on velocity way more than something that's indexed on profit, right? Because if it sells and it just doesn't sell for as much as you wanted, that's fine. You iterate, you learn, and keep it moving. But if something's stuck in FBA not selling, theoretical profit is useless, right? So focus on velocity. Obviously, you need to be sourcing profitable stuff, but like as long as things are selling, even if it's not to the number that you want, you're still growing as a business.
Cool. I appreciate everyone tapping in today. Glad Revelation's been slapping coffee too, as well. We got the free class going out tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern. It's best free Amazon content on the internet. Join us for an excellent 90 minutes to help you kick off your 2025 and find success in record time. Whether you're a newer seller or a seller looking to scale your existing business, we give away a ton of free game we don't share anywhere else. So make sure you guys get registered for that. Get your free trial of SellerAmp if you haven't already and get rock and rolling the stuff. All these guys got tons of videos on YouTube. You can go ahead and watch. We do Monday every 5 p.m. Eastern, where we can put you guys on, answer any questions y'all got. You guys be great. See you soon.
See you guys.
See you guys.
See you next week.
Let's make it a good one.